Recording. All right, I assume this is recording, but this is Shelley Valett. I am an advanced director in Northern California with Pampered Chef, and we're just going to do a casual chat today about fundraisers and doing fundraisers with Pampered Chef. I have Director Carol on the line available to kind of give us some guidance, and Renee and Barbara. And so my question for you gals is, I'm just going to take a few notes here, but what are your burning fundraiser questions? Just kind of give me your, like where are you stumped or where are you stuck? And that way I can make sure, I mean, I'll kind of review fundraisers, the bigger picture, but I do want to be sure you leave with your questions answered. What do you need to know about fundraisers?
For me, everything. And I say that because my niece goes to the school, and I'm sure if I could get my foot in the door, I could get them to do it. But I need to go in the door, knowing what I'm talking about, you know, like I know what I'm doing.
Well, there's that, yeah. And what grade is she in, Barbara?
It's a preschool.
It's a preschool. Okay, it makes a difference. It does make a difference. So that's great. All right, so she's in a preschool. Excellent. And kind of like the whole picture. How about for you, Renee? I know you've done a couple fundraisers. Was it for your Relay for Life team?
Yes.
And
we've done a couple of them for that.
All right.
And they're relatively easy. They're really, I mean, it's host coaching. It's getting the word out. It's creating events on Facebook. You know, if the team is on Facebook, we do a Facebook event. The host is in Rotary. So a lot of her Rotary people are on our Relay for Life team.
Oh, okay.
So,
you're cross-pollinating there, which is actually always a fabulous thing. Very good.
Right. And then we hold events, you know, at work and then out there when we're out there on the field.
Okay. So you do, take it out actually live to the relay. That's terrific. So jump in and kind of share any tips or ideas. Carol, have you done any fundraisers?
I did for Relay for Life also.
Okay, for Relay. And then, you know, happy for us on our team, and if Katie's watching the replay of this, we are recording, that she is formerly with the American Cancer Society. She's the person who, for the local Cancer Society, she coordinated the Relay for Life events. So she's a fabulous resource on our team page. When you go back after us chatting today, you know, pull as much good information as you can from her, because that's really, she was so excited when she joined Pampered Chef about having that ability to do fundraisers for them. So fundraisers as a whole, let me just kind of give you the backstory there. When you do a fundraiser with Pampered Chef, one of the most important aspects is that this is the catalog used for fundraisers. And that's a huge deal. Notice that it looks exactly like the catalog you'd use for any other part of your business, and that's because it is. Our fundraisers are done with our everyday catalog, unlike some other companies that you find that have a special fundraising catalog, which you will notice has enhanced and beefed up prices so that they can charge more for when the little kindergartners come trotting around to grandma's house and show you wrapping paper and cards and cookie dough and candles and things like that with these big, you know, beautiful eyes. You can hardly say no to them. And here you are buying a candle for $25 that you never would have paid more than, you know, $60 for it. That's how those work. So when you are talking, Barbara, with the preschool or the elementary school, those parents know that these fundraisers are coming around and that they're really in super huge prices. And that's kind of just what they get. So one of the selling points as you're talking with people with Pampered Chef is our prices are our prices. And Pampered Chef gives, when you submit a fundraiser, instead of the normal host rewards, which are very lucrative, instead of the host getting the FedEx truck to pull up with all her free and discounted goodies, instead what Pampered Chef does is cuts a check to their organization. And the range is 10 to 15% of your sales. So the way that it works is if it sales up to $599 for your fundraiser, they'll give 10%. So that's almost a $60 check. and over 600, it's 15%. So, hey, Debbie, so good to see you. You're on mute, so hit that button if you want to chime in on us. We are recording, and I'm glad you joined in. Welcome back. And so 15% of $1,000 fundraiser, so 600 and up, is a $150 check. These are not huge numbers. And so people will comment on that. And you tell them that fundraisers, the way that they actually earn their big fat checks with fundraisers is it's volume. It's volume, and the fact that folks are going to go out, everybody needs to eat. People will go out and buy knives and buy cookware from Costco. They'll buy a chopper from Target. They'll go to Macy's and spend $500 on cookware. And if they do that through Pampered Chef instead, they're getting extraordinarily good quality, and we're getting a return to the organization of their choice. Not to mention a free gift when they hit $75 in their order. So what happens with fundraisers is if you target and market fundraisers to your customers, your show average will be so much bigger. You'll do bigger parties. So you'll be more efficient. And I will tell you, there's just something, I'm coming up on 17 years with Pampered Chef. I'm known as the fundraiser queen in these here parts. I tell people that I'm your fundraiser queen when it comes time for you to need help with your school or your Rotary Club or your Red Hat Society or your church or your relay or team in training. Call me. Tell me, refer me to your friends. And I do tons of fundraisers. And they're big. They're really, really big. You should also know that in order for Pampered Chef to be able to financially be able to do this for us and allow us to have fundraisers as a way of promoting our business and making our income, is your commission level with fundraisers is a little bit smaller than usual. So what's your commission level, ladies, when somebody first signs up? What are you earning on your sales? Who can tell me what the range is?
25%.
So it ranges from 20 to 25% based on your overall volume for the month to start, and it goes up from there, right? With fundraisers, it's 15%. So you need to be aware of that. When you go to do a fundraiser, your paycheck is a little smaller, but the idea is, and this is always the case if you're following a lot of the tips we'll give you during our chat today, is your parties will be bigger. Your fundraiser averages will be much bigger. Hey, Gemma. Gemma just walked in.
Say hi.
So, and if you've hit your 15,000 in career sales, then your base on fundraisers is 17%, right? You have a 2% increase on your commission. Okay, so is this new to everybody, or is this helpful information? Barbara, did you know that was kind of how this all works on the fundraiser?
But that's okay. I can deal with that.
Okay, good deal. Alrighty, so the other the other aspect of a fundraiser is, remember I said that in the donation check is cut to the organization in lieu of the host reward. But there is one exception to that. Whoever your host or chairman is for a fundraiser, they do get to take the 60% off host bonus for the month. So this is February 2017. We're recording this training, and our host bonus this month is any of our Rock Crocs at 60% off. So that's your thank you gift to your host, to say you can take a Rock Croc XL, and instead of it being $250, it's only $100 for you. Pick your free gift, because that's over $75, and that $100 also increases the balance of the fundraiser, the sales. So we're gonna give you a portion of that back in your check. Sound good?
Great.
Okay. Now I think it was Debbie was talking with me about this a month or so ago when she was doing a fundraiser, and it was for a group that she's very involved in. And one of the questions came up. It says, if you don't have a chairman, if you don't have an outside host being the host, and I'm the host because I'm involved in the band at school, or I'm involved with whatever it is, my kid goes to the elementary school or whatever, and I'm going to have to cut a check anyway for the science camp or whatever it is. Can I be the host as well as the consultant? And the answer is always yes to that. Okay. And if you want it, you are the CEO of your own business, so you do have a lot of flexibility with how you do your fundraisers. You can, if you want, Debbie, tell me if I'm remembering this correct, that we talked about you doing the fundraiser, but submitting it as a regular show, not as a fundraiser in the system, and you cut the check at the end of the day, and you collect the host rewards because you're doing the effort and the work for a fundraiser. Did we talk about that, Debbie?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
I ran it as a host, and then I donated back what I got in rewards, in addition to the 10%.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfectly fine. You can do that. You get to make these big old decisions. So then that's a charitable donation for you, and it's tax deductible, and you've got the rewards of extra products in your kitchen. So you can certainly do that.
Shelley, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Now, you said she did a fundraiser,
Mm-hmm.
but she turned it in as a regular show that she hosted.
Correct.
And was it her commission that she donated?
Is that what it was, Debbie?
No, I looked at what free product that I got out of it, and then I did the math and did it over that way.
So Barbara, if it was a $1,000 show, she would have gotten $215 in free products. So she wrote a check. She took the products and wrote a check to the organization for $215. Cool. Okay.
It wasn't anywhere near. No, it was more like 200 right on.
Okay.
But,
Okay, but
Okay. All right. Any other
whatever
questions?
product she got,
Yeah.
she took the amount of those products that would have originally sold for, and that's what she donated to the school?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
but I've been researching that since. Was that correct? Did I do that correctly? I've been looking at things since I did that a month ago. And that's my concern, is that I did that wrong.
What would you have done differently? What would you have done differently?
I don't know. I don't know if that was ethically correct or legally correct. Is there...
No, you're hosting a fundraiser and you're taking, anybody have any input on that? I've done that before. So, I took these at a time when I knew I was going to be ordering the product anyway. So,
I found my chapstick.
oh, I thought Gemma was answering our question. Okay. So we'll check around, but I don't see any issues with it. You can host a party at any point. You're doing the work. You invited all the people. You delivered all the products. You collected all the orders. You, if you had a live show, you bought the ingredients, and held it at your home. So that's your rewards of hosting, and you can absolutely market that and add it, make a donation to your group as a result. Okay, people do crab feeds and all those kinds of things, and they do the same thing. I was at a huge event last night for the band, and it was a silent auction and everything. So I think we're good on that. Any other questions before we kind of move on to the next topic? Kind of the nuts and bolts and nitty gritty of it. So one of the things I will tell you as a whole is that if you want your fundraisers to be successful, probably your key skill that you need to master and implement is host coaching. And what a surprise, if you want your regular shows to be bigger and more rewarding and get more bookings and more sales and more commission and more recruit leads out of them, host coaching is what you need to focus on, and same with fundraisers. And I will tell you, I do really strong host coaching for my everyday parties. I did 96 shows last year and sold almost $70,000 as a whole for the year. So I do really, show average is pretty high, and I do really solid host coaching. I take it a couple steps beyond for fundraisers, and because it's worth it. It's worth it. There's one other thing that I personally offer with fundraisers, and I always have, and I tell my customers that we use my fundraisers as our way for doing our charitable giving for the year. I want our donations to stay local and to benefit our local community, so that when I do a fundraiser for Team in Training or the American Cancer Society or the local church, I will tell them, Pampered Chef gives 10 to 15% donation. But for my fundraisers, when you hit $2,500 in sales, I will bump that up by another 10% so that you're getting 25%. Okay, now that is my own choice to do that, and it is my out of my pocket, but it's my charitable donation, and I'm happy to do it. If I'm earning 17%, 10%, giving that to the organization is a fairly big chunk, but we're talking volume, because your fundraisers can be huge. Okay, you don't have to do that. I'm just telling you that's what I've always done, and it works really, really well. Our Zoom link, because we started a little bit late, might cut out here in a second, and if it does, just click the link and we'll restart it. Okay. So here I'm going to just give you some of the pieces that I do for fundraisers that kind of fall in the line of host coaching. So Renee mentioned at the very beginning, she sets up a show on their personal website and generates a link. And you want to give that link to your host and have them give it to everybody who gives it to everybody, and really spread the word via social media, text, email, all the different methods that you have. People will order more on fundraisers if they know that a percentage is going to their organization. I think my highest fundraiser was about $6,700. And it was spooky veggie pizzas we did every October for a middle school in San Leandro. And the goal was to raise money for the scholarships that they had available to send some of the kids to science camp. And that ran for 4 consecutive years, maybe more. And they loved it, and they expected it. They came back every single year for it. It's another lovely benefit of fundraisers. Once you get them started, you'll have them again and again and again. I have a recurring fundraiser out of San Jose, out of the Crohn's. It's the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, runs out of their medical center in San Jose. I've never been down there to cook for them. It's just a fundraiser we do online every spring that coincides with a walk that they do. So there's lots of return business on those. Probably one of the other points I don't think I mentioned is that Pampered Chef also throws in free money into that donation check they cut, and it's $3 for every booking that you generate from your fundraiser. So that can really add up and kind of encourage people to book. So I just use that term.
And that's $3 donated to the cause?
It goes into the bulk of the check for every booking that's attached to that party before you submit it. Yeah, $3. Cool. Okay, so you get a lot of bookings and add, 15 bookings, add another $45 to their check. That's something really, powerful for your business going forward and for theirs. Fundraisers tend to book from fundraisers. So, okay, so you set up the fundraiser on your personal website like you typically would do. There used to be, and somebody help me and tell me whether or not it still exists, but there used to be a fundraiser flyer that was available. I'll show you the one that I've seen in the past. I've just shared my screen with you guys, and give it a second here. And let me find that for you. I think I gave Carol a copy of that a second ago. Okay. Yeah. And just fundraiser materials.
Is there a lot of information on the website about fundraising?
So who can answer that? I haven't looked in quite a while.
I didn't find a lot. No.
There is a Pampered Chef Facebook group for wedding showers and fundraisers that you can join as well.
Oh, okay.
There you go. And when we're all done, I've got a handful of resources. There we go. This is a handful of resources that I've saved over the years, training calls done by other directors and whatnot. So I can open that up for us. Okay, so this is in Evernote. You should be able to see my screen now, and this is just a link that I send. Actually, I think there's my little tiny link that I made for it, and whoopsies. And my computer's going super slow because I'm connected to the Zoom right now. So anyway, I'll post this on our team page for you. Copy. All right, but this is what it looks like. This is just a snapshot of the flyer that Pampered Chef has available or had available in the past. It's not too terribly detailed, but I've got several other letters that different consultants have made that you don't have to recreate the wheel. So there's a lot of materials out there that you can share. So here are some of the extra little steps and pieces that I will do. So for host coaching, any of your parties and fundraisers specifically, you do want to give your hosts the information to get the word out. So once you've set up her party on her website, you set it up on Facebook, you make her the host, and you have her invite everybody that she knows. And it is key to encourage her not to stick with the group that she's fundraising for. If she's fundraising for the preschool, don't just share this with the parents of the preschool. Expand it to the greater wide world and have everybody do the same, because everybody wants to help. If you're doing an effort like this, they will want to help. And if you don't invite them, you never will get the chance to do that. You just don't know who's out shopping for cookware and who would much rather buy their cookware with us and have it make a big donation to the local preschool rather than to, forgive me, but Macy's or Williams and Sonoma. So I also will take and make a special label. So you're going to provide a host packet to your organization, and yes, they may ask and need more catalogs than a regular host packet might include. My regular host packet has 3. My fundraiser host packet, I will ask you're in close contact with the host and ask them, how many catalogs do you think you might need to get you started? Yes, you'll have an electronic ordering link that will work really well, but I'll send you a package of catalogs. And they may say 5, 10, there may be a lot. If you do have a school that's doing a fundraiser for the entire school, that happens a lot, and there's 400 kids in the school, contact me and let's talk about options rather than providing them with 400 catalogs, because that's not going to be cost effective for you, okay? Instead, what you do is you put a handful of them in the office with an envelope with ordering instructions. So the envelope is where orders can get submitted from people just walking into the office. You delegate. You find a couple parents who are super involved and super knowledgeable, and you put catalogs into their hands, and make sure you're in close contact with whoever the secretary is or somebody who's in the office all the time who can kind of, route people to a catalog. Like if you put a catalog on a clipboard or stapled up outside the front door of each of the classrooms involved, so they can access the catalog, but then you have an order form they can take that's got the link and your information and a deadline. So in general, what you do with fundraisers is you kind of work backwards. Here's what I mean by that, time frame wise. You sit down with your chairman and you talk about their goal, how many people are involved and how much money do you need to raise, and do the math for them and say, if you've got 100 people involved from the preschool, 100 families perhaps, maybe we get 20% will participate. That's 20 families going and collecting orders. And if every family commits to collecting at least like $200 in orders, you do that math and show them, here's what your sales will be and here's what your check will be. So you can actually walk through with that with them, but you're asking them questions about how many people are participating, how much can we anticipate each family will contribute if they go out to their wider worlds and collect orders. So you have an idea of it. But I do actually, before I provide catalogs to any fundraiser organization, I print a page of labels that has my information and their link, the ordering link, the deadline for orders. And if we're having a live cooking class as part of the fundraiser, I'll put the date and time and theme and location on that. It may take two labels per catalog, but I'll do that. So that should point out to you that you can and should, as much as possible, try to have an element of actually us getting together and cooking together for every fundraiser if they can. If they come to you and say, I just want to do it online, I just want to pass the catalogs, I just want to do it through Facebook, that's fine. But what I will tell them is the lion's share of the work then falls to them, because they've got to go out there with the catalogs and the link and order form